better. Right, do that. Copy that. Right, go there. Ah, damn it, I forgot. Settings. Right. Okay, now let's see. What audio? Right, the audio is running no image at the moment. Now, why haven't we got an image up? Right. Okay, photo viewer. Right. There we go. That's better. Now, everything should be running. Right. Right. Let's see what happens. Okay. Right. Right. So, should be running. Right. Go on studio mode. There we are. Now, so I missed a button, but I think should be running. Yeah, we go. Everything's up and running again. I'm a bit more awake because I've had a good coffee, some blueberries, and the sertraline tablets the doctor put me on. A couple of those, so now I'm feeling more awake. So, oh look, have I spelled? Oh my god, look how badly I've. Yeah, one of the effects of having your sister murdered is I didn't have her murdered; she was murdered, and the effects had on me is look how I've spelt General Election 2024 Part 2. I used to be a proofreader, amongst other things, and now I can barely type. I should check what I write, shouldn't I? So can I edit that? Let's find out. Let's see if I can edit that title. There we go. Video details. Oh, here we go. I can edit it. Good, 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 good. So let's edit that. So General Election 2024 Part 2 starts at midnight and save. That's better. Let's see what we got. Okay, I'm back. Right, so let's watch that. Okay, right now there's a new result coming through for Sunderland. And I'll give you, doing two things at once, I'll give you the current election results we have. So, here are the declared results for the general election 2024. That's better. Okay, so as you know, first of all, the first election result we had was Sunderland South. That was House and Sunderland South. Labour won with 47.1% of the vote, up 6.7. The Reform Party came second with 29.1%, up 13.4%. The Conservatives were down to 13.8%, a fall of 19.2%. Lib Dems 5.7, Party Change, Greens at 4.3%, up 1.6%, obviously a Labour hold. And following that, we then had another result for Blyth and Ashington. Now that constituency is a strong Labour area, and the results show that. It was won by Labour and retained by Labour on 49.6% of the vote, up 1.9%. The Reform Party came in second with 26.9%, up 17.8%. Conservatives down by 18.3% to 15.2% of the vote. Greens just under 5%, and the Lib Dems fell to 3.5%. Okay, so and we've just had the results for Sunderland. So let's see what we have for Sunderland results. Again, a solid Labour seat. So, and again, Sunderland are amongst the first to declare. So, as Sunderland South declared an hour ago, so within an hour of the polls closing. And here we go. The results for Sunderland Central. Labour Party on 32.2%. Now, interestingly, that's no change. Now, that's unusual for an election. You expect either a fall or a rise. And with the expectations and the lack of popularity for the Tories, I would expect Labour to have risen. They haven't. There's been no change in the Labour results in Sunderland Central. The Reform Party is on 27%. That's a swing up by 15.4%. Conservatives are down to 14.3%. That's a drop of 21%. Lib Dems have gone up to 9%. That's a jump of 2.1%. And the Green Party have gone up by 4.7%. So that's now they finished last at 7.5%. So they've lost their deposit. But an increase of 4.7 is a good result. So the Greens have done well, or they still came last in Sunderland Central. And I assume that's largely down to conservative vote, previous conservative voters at Sunderland Central, abandoning the Conservatives and not being happy with reform, have chosen to vote for the Lib Dems and the Greens. But as it's a strong Labour seat, it's expected. And let's see. Also, I want to comment how well the YouTube channels are doing on election night. Paul Thorpe has had 54,000 viewers. The Lotus Eaters were earlier on 30,000. I mean, some of the YouTube channels I'm aware of, I'm in contact with, between them are well over 100,000. In comparison, ITV are on roughly 15,000. LBC, the leading broadcast in the London area, are under 7,000. Although I'm not sure what the audience figures are now for the LBC radio. The impression is they've been dropping because they've been promoting rather unpopular broadcasters. James O'Brien in the morning is kind of a broadcast that divides people. He has his fans. A lot of people have got sick of his endless, long monologues of complaints. It's going to be interesting to see how people or broadcasters like him are going to respond now to a Labour government, and rightly so, complained about the Tory government every day so often. Although James O'Brien's usually his focus of his ire has been on the likes of Nigel Farage and the fact that the UK left the European Union, and some of my colleagues, leaving the European Union for our industry was not a good idea. Some people I know who trade with Europe, and they, by leaving the European Union, now get charged for imports, and the import tariffs are so high as to make a lot of deals uneconomical to deal with Europe. And my primary industry is acting and directing, although since my sister's murder, that became a lot quieter whilst I was struggling with ongoing and sometimes worsening illnesses. And a factor that occurred with the acting film industry was that when Britain left Europe, we lost out on the tax break incentives for European financing. So myself and other colleagues were eligible for, and some benefited directly from, filming in Europe, and they would get tax breaks as part of membership of the European Union. Those opportunities no longer exist because the UK is no longer part of that agreement, which enables application for those tax breaks. And as a result, the opportunities and film productions that we could be involved with have decreased. So it's certainly an aspect of leaving Europe where there is no doubt it hasn't been for the worse, certainly for the film television industry. Others could argue there's mixed results in other industries, but certainly for my colleagues, people I've known, and the primary industry I'm involved with, it has leaving Europe was something of a disaster. And continuing with that theme, actually, whilst we're waiting for more results to come through, it's worthwhile remembering, another sip of coffee, that back in 1979, when Margaret Thatcher won an election, one of the first things she did was to cut government financing for film and TV. And she, at the time, made excuses saying, it's not an important industry. Except, of course, 1979 was when the British film industry was really taking off because part of Superman 1978 was filmed at Pinewood Studios. Star Wars was filmed at Pinewood Studios. It's in fact part of the Death Star and the Millennium Falcon was for a long time in a hangar at Pinewood Studios, a large plywood model they used for filming the Han Solo. Obviously, Harrison Ford and the other actors inside was filmed at Pinewood, and it was there for a long time, sitting in a shed. And there was that just saying, we're going to cut financing for the film industry, which was just about to take off, which we had taken off, making money. And by cutting back the financing, actually undermined the British film industry at the very time it was expanding. So very short-sighted of her. And then in around about 1984, the government removed a tax that existed on every cinema ticket that was bought. And that tax for every cinema ticket was used specifically for funding film industry. So by removing that tax, there was a large chunk of money removed from financing and again, once again, undermined British film and TV production, which is an export industry, obviously, because films go around the world, and we've seen that with the BBC's Top Gear. That's their biggest revenue of all the shows that BBC have made. It was Top Gear that was making the largest revenue until Jeremy Clarkson punched a producer for not having steak there for him. He came back from a long day of filming, so it was like some dried whole cheese sandwich, so he lost it and punched this Irish producer, got sacked. And so him and the other two went over to Sky and made a series, made Sky very rich. And BBC lost out on further financing. Which is probably why they're intent on increasing our license fee again. Right, so all okay. Right, so I've been talking about TV industry rather than the election. Just checking that everything's running. Running. Is it running? Yes. So I just doing a quick technical check because I got a message from OB Studio. Yep, it all looks good. I think. Right. Yep. Everything's running. Okay, sorry about that. Just to do a quick check because I got a message that things might not have been running. Right, so let's get up to date with the election. So this election has been predicted for, well, results have been predictable for a very long time. Effectively, since Boris Johnson had stepped down when he lost nearly 60 of his MPs, had resigned from various government posts, not supporting him following the exposing of the parties had during the lockdown. People couldn't visit dying relatives in hospital. The Queen sat in isolation well, effectively isolated at the funeral of her husband. At the very time when Boris Johnson was having parties. And so with roughly 60 resignations from government posts, he stepped down. And then the internal election amongst the Tory MPs, so no one else was consulted. The country was consulted, neither were Conservative Party members. It was an internal matter. to select who would be put forward to be the next prime minister. And eventually, so Suella Braverman was one of the expected to make it through to the final round. Instead, I think it came down to Rishi, as I recall, and certainly Blondie, whose name again is now evading me. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she lasted, what, 46 days? She lasted less time than the Daily Star's lettuce. The lettuce outlasted her. So she was gone, and in came Rishi Sunak. Although Rishi Sunak always had his eye on being Prime Minister, which became clear because the moment Boris resigned, the next day, Rishi Sunak released a advert promoting himself as the next Prime Minister, a professionally done piece of work which would have taken a good few weeks to produce. It can't be produced overnight, so Rishi Sunak had already pre-recorded and edited a video promoting himself as the next Prime Minister weeks before Boris Johnson had resigned. Right, now, shall we see what the latest results are? And we have, here we go, I'll let you know. Anything new? We have, so far there's been 3 declared results. Anything added to that? I don't think there is. Usually 1 o'clock in the morning onwards, there'll be an increase. Here we go. Ah. No, where's that come from? No. Let's have a look, see what we got. Like I said, so far we have 3 declarations. Sunderland South, Sunderland Central, yep, 12 minutes ago was the last declaration from Sunderland Central. There's been no declarations since about 1 o'clock onwards. There's a sudden acceleration, and by 2 o'clock you're having difficulty keeping up with the election results. If I'm still awake at 2 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, as expected, we're expecting a Labour majority of 410 seats is predicted. So 410 Labour seats, so the majority of well over 200. The Tories were figures last week have varied between down to 16 seats, which is not going to happen apparently. They expect it now to be around 131 seats. But that's too early to say. That's what's predicted, but come 2 o'clock in the morning, we have a better idea. The final results normally come in from Northern Ireland, even as late as Saturday. So you're expecting between Friday and Saturday, Northern Ireland, Orkney, Shetlands, but England before this is usually fully declared. The only reason there could be late declarations on a Friday afternoon is if there's very close election results and there's been recounts. The last 2 elections, the City of London has come down to 150 votes. After David Cameron's resignation, Theresa May's first election, she had, when she expected to walk all over Corbyn, and it turned to be much closer than expected. The City of London, for the first time, went over to Labour by 150 votes. And then in Boris Johnson's Christmas 2019 election, the City of London reverted back to the Tories by 155 votes. At the time, the outgoing Labour MP refused to shake hands with the Tory candidate. The Tory winner did shake hands with the Socialist Labour candidate, but the former Labour MP refused to shake her hand. Blueberries. Oh, yeah. Blueberries we left out for a couple of days. They're not gone alcohol quite yet, but they're getting that less sweet kind of bit. They're fermenting, is what I'm trying to say. Just starting. So, as it's going to be rather quiet at the moment, I'm going to be logging off a little while again soon and setting up for the 3rd election stream. And these blueberries are keeping me awake. So which means I'll resume broadcasting at 1 o'clock. So I'll get updates from various other sites. Yep. I think right now there's nothing more I can add really. At this stage, unless you want to go into the history of past elections and past results. I'll probably do a video just dedicated to that. But right now, I think I will say that I'm going to sign off for the second part and I'll set up ready for the third part. So everyone, as you should expect, by later this morning, Labour will be the new government. Depending if I stay awake, and I think these blueberries are definitely helping me stay awake. I'll be giving you the results. But right now, I'll sign off and I'll resume broadcasting at 1 a.m. So if anyone's interested, hope to rejoin you then.